there was none. And now we are finally back. The RLCS has returned, and we got a crazy day one group stage. And now we're continuing on with the rampage of this first European regional. We're going to kick things off with Team Liquid up against German Amigos. Subi, who do you got taking it?
You know, this is a tough one to call. German Amigos, one of those question marks coming in. Last season they played under the banner of Evil Geniuses, and they were hot and cold. Whereas Team Liquid, they kind of seem to just ramp things up after the hot spring split coming in from the 2022 season. So for me, if you're asking, I just think Team Liquid has the upper hand, but you can't count out German Amigos, that's for sure.
Yeah, for me, I'm just wondering what kind of transitions we're going to get out of German Amigos. I expect to see a lot of Team Liquid offense and mostly a one-sided matchup when it comes to possession. Now, I don't think that means Team Liquid are guaranteed to win. However, I do think we're going to see a more defensive German Amigos because of Team Liquid's speed and what they're able to bring to the table when it comes to passing that midfield line. I mean, look at this, for example. You've seen Oski high-flying action so far, but a big clear, and it's going to be transitions like this that German Amigos need. And being efficient with these transitions is key. Look at this bump, look at the demo, and look at the goal from German Amigos.
You called it, just weather the storm, and Team Liquid got a little too aggressive. And here comes German Amigos to capitalize. Catalysm getting the goal there. And top of that nice bump on the goal line to open things up. But I agree with you, Turtle. I think this is just going to be heavy offense from Team Liquid, and it's all about German Amigos to see if they can capitalize on little mistakes that Team Liquid seems to have.
And I do think German Amigos had a relatively difficult group stage in comparison to Liquid. Not saying that we're trying to belittle the record that Liquid had coming into this matchup, but I do think German Amigos, I mean, they had to take a dub over BDS, over Guild, and then their only loss was against Oxygen. So I think that German Amigos, they're prepared. They've had a lot of high-powered offense to deal with, so they are all warmed up for this series.
Yeah, you see them all just very content to sit in the box and wait for those shots to come on as Cox gets the much-needed touch. Awkward one at that off the backboard, and Ivan looking for a clear, can't quite find it. A toe passes, but gets that second touch, throws Oski off, and thankfully Oski gets the touch there to slow things down. But the demos come out, Fox gets the save, and a Chronic gets the boost deal. It just seems like a never-ending offense for Team Liquid.
So retaliation out of Team Liquid. There was a lot of bumps, a lot of demos. I mean, the first goal was from a bunk play out of German Amigos, and they also were getting a couple of physical plays in the past 30 seconds, but Team Liquid, a good response with a couple of demos of their own, and things have stabilized in the midfield. Good transition downfield from German Amigos, but nothing quite yet to yield from it. Still the first goal in favor of German Amigos as they look to get out of defense, but it's back the other way. Oski up high, can't find the angle. Here comes a big clear for German Amigos.
Yeah, speed definitely the advantage for Team Liquid right now, but when you look on the other side of the pitch, I wonder if poise is going to be a factor here. So far, look unrattled, even though they've already faced 10 Team Liquid shots, but haven't let any slip through that goal line. As Cox coming through, just trying to slow things down, keep Team Liquid at bay, and a good infield pass. Ivan can't quite fade out a toe, and Oski does get that boost, gonna bomb it back downfield, but they need to get to work. They've been able to get the shots on target, but haven't been able to pull out German Amigos just quite yet.
Yeah, but I definitely think they're building that foundation. I have noticed a lot of midfield coach skills from Team Liquid, so that is definitely going to help whenever you're transitioning. We look to see who will take the midfield boost. This time it's going to be Tox, and they're trying to set up Cam in the half of Team Liquid and waste as much time off the clock. A minute and 60 to go with Team Liquid slowly knocking on that door.
And we just thought it was a slight double commit. That's what it's going to take for Team Liquid to find success on the offensive path. Chronic, he can find the double tap there as Cox pushes it into the corner. And it's these low clears that's really hurting German Amigos. They need to get those bombs downfield as a Chronic can't quite get the shot on target. Just narrowly denied there as the angle was a little too tight. And less than 1 minute to go here, Turtle. Team Liquid, the offense has been there. It's just been better defense from German Amigos.
Yeah, here we go. You talked about it, boys, and the composure for German Amigos as
rumps, can't quite find anyone, and Catalysm pushes all the way back towards midfield, and just like that, German Amigos gonna steal game number 1.
I'm so impressed with this defense. Out of all 3 of these orange players, Ivan, Tox, Catalysm, putting in work. It was 6 saves to Tox's name, and that's 12 saves in total, which is absolutely ridiculous. 17 shots for Liquid against the 3 shots of German Amigos, and that is what I expected. One-sided offense for Team Liquid, but German Amigos, they looked comfortable the whole time. To me, there wasn't too much pressure applied to their goal line. Maybe 1 or 2 moments where they had to get that last-second save, but that was it.
Yeah, not many times are you gonna hear either of us say they looked comfortable on defense when they were looking at 17 shots.
17 shots.
Somehow German Amigos did just that. They were able to keep their poise, keep the respect for Team Liquid, but also able to capitalize on a small mistake that Team Liquid put forward, where they just pushed forward into that orange half a little too far. A bump opened things up, and that's all she wrote in game number 1. And as we head into game number 2, Forbidden Temple, oh how we've missed you. We've swapped it out for Aquadome, and let's go underway.
Gotta love Forbidden Temple, and if you're a fan of Team Liquid, you want to see them adapt. In this game, of Chronic almost adapting within the first 10 seconds, and was narrowly missing that chance to get the first goal for his team. Still scoreless, his Team Liquid, but a good start for them. A very speedy start, which is still to be expected, and you wonder, will they get too desperate? Do they start overcommitting, overextending, trying to put every shot away? They need to be patient, but of course, keep utilizing the creativity that they have at hand.
Well, that's kind of been their Achilles heel throughout the entirety that they've been in the RLCS. We've always known them to be a fast team, a mechanical team, but it's the little mistakes that have plagued them. And once they kind of polish everything out, that's when they're going to be a formidable opponent. Like we saw at the Fall Major, they got all the way to the quarterfinals, took the eventual major winners, Gen G, to a game number 7. But once they start buttoning things up and ironing it out, that's when they're going to be extremely dangerous all the time. But a team like this, it's one you have to be wary of, as Ivan looking for the pass, and this ball all the way downfield. Great pump by Toe, getting Catalysm out of there, and we remain scoreless.
Yeah, now we're starting to see Team Liquid improvise, potentially look for more bumps. A Chronic has to get the speed off the backboard. He does find it, and Oski taking so much boost, finds his corner. Let's see how they decide to transition out. There haven't been too many struggles with the clears, and as you sneak this ball past the final defender, it's going to be an open net for Team Liquid.
Great carry through the defender here as Toe gets the easy pass out. Puts Team Liquid up by 1, and that's what they need here. Minute and a half into game number 2. Get that goal. A little bit of cushion to feel comfortable, because we know that they can keep the pressure. We know they can box German Amigos in their own half.
Oh, this is an interesting play here. Toe traded blows here with the defender. I'm not sure exactly who it was in the corner. As that was, I believe it was Ivan who got taken out as well. I'm not sure who would have found the rotation, but regardless, 2 quick goals for Team Liquid. Early to strike now, and they have stopped the bleeding of game number 1 and gotten on the scoreboard in game number 2.
Stretching the lead out here in game number 2 is Team Liquid, is Catalysm looking to get the offense started so far. 2 minutes of gameplay, almost collapsed, and no shots on the board for German Amigos. And just as I say that, Tox able to tuck one in, and I'm not sure what the defender was thinking here as this shot was coming out of the corner.
Yeah, this is crucial out of German Amigos. He get a touch early on in that corner, and then the follow-up from Tox. It was a tight angle, but he found it, and an immediate response from German Amigos. You feel for the defender of Team Liquid, where you need to get a better hit. That corner is so deadly for these teams, and defenses might not be always in the proper spot, and Team Liquid certainly weren't prepared for that bounce. But a good response, like I said, for German Amigos to get back into this game quickly.
And with that goal, it's Tox's 50th goal of the season. He has been the key offensive maker here in the Winter Open for German Amigos. 15 so far throughout 2 days, and mind you, today hasn't really been a full day for him, as a Toe baits out one defender, gets it over, but Catalysm there in the rotation, playing third man extremely well. And the offense starting to get going once again for Team Liquid. It's like a fine-tuned machine until it can't get by two, but pulls one out. The rotation's a little spread out and a little slow for Team Liquid.
The main thing for German Amigos is taking away as much of this fuel that you're giving to Team Liquid as possible. Maintaining the midfield boost. Here comes Tox though on a solo dribble. Past the Chronic. This man can do it all by himself.
Oh, look at this scoop to get this ball on top of his hood right here so he can get the flick over a Chronic. Just nasty 1v1 skills on display to tie us up in game number 2.
He barely had any boost. It looked like he had about 30 to 35 boosts when he started that dribble. He managed to get it behind and under the first defender. And then, like you said, the perfect touch to get that ball on top of his car. And he used every single boost in the tank. Made it worth his while. We've got German Amigos all tied up. That's how you get it done.
Exactly 1 minute apart between both of those goals for German Amigos. Didn't take him long to strike, and that's a great passing play. So well read by Tox as he gets the Savior medal on that shot as Oski rotating through as a toe, but Callison just popping that one up. And where's the defense to challenge Tox? He didn't have the boost to follow through with that shot, but Team Liquid, the midfield pressure starting to look suspect.
Yeah, and that's directly after getting scored on it. It looks like the confidence from Liquid has dwindled down. Nobody infiltrating the midfield as much. Maybe they're too cautious about getting counterattack, which has been so effective. I mean, think back to the first game for German Amigos. That initial goal was off of one counterattack and a quick bump. They start in their own half, and then one shot is all they need to punish Team Liquid, who love to overextend to.
Right, that's brilliant. Turtle, I hadn't even thought of that. You also brought up in game number 1 how strong Team Liquid were at midfield control, stealing those boost pads. And here in game number 2, just looks like it's been nullified, and that's kind of handed German Amigos a little more speed in their bag as the Chronic third man gets much needed touch. Ivan tried to dump that one off, not on the same page as Callison and Toe, keeping things alive. 20 seconds remain here. Team Liquid again knocking at the door of German Amigos.
It's going to be much more difficult for Team Liquid to see because if they're not going for more of a midfield presence, that means they're going to rely more on solo plays with just one player sent downfield while the rest are rotating back to be a bit more cautious. But as we approach the final few seconds, the ball floating in front of the net of German Amigos, it will touch the ground and send us right to overtime.
Our first overtime of the day happening on Forbidden Temple as a Chronic pushes that ball through. Can't quite get it through Ivan and Catalysm as they're trying to get this ball out of their own half. Great touch there from the toe. And again, starting to look like Team Liquid starting to get a little bit of a stranglehold over midfield as Oski coming through looking for the double. Can't find it as Tox playing great defense up on that backboard.
Lewandowski actually stole that corner boost, so this could lead to more pressure. And you'll notice nobody's ready to challenge against Team Liquid. There's barely any boost to go around for German Amigos. Aquatic is also taking a midfield boost. This is the best look Team Liquid are going to get potentially in this overtime. You think they got to score, but the defense of German Amigos just somehow pulls them behind tight.
Like what I always say, but we're going to do it is the Devils coming through from a toe. Oski capitalizing on that one. field control, we've seen boost steals, we've seen demos. Now if they can just kind of bundle them all together, oh, they are going to be deadly.
Ivan has had a bit of a slower game as well. I think the points represented at the end of game number 2, he was sitting at about 84 points, and that was a couple hundred behind his next few teammates. And while points don't represent everything, I definitely think Ivan hasn't been as involved for German Amigos in game number 2. And here he is alone. He got bumped and maintained his position on the backboard. That's the Ivan we know and love, and he's coming through with an immaculate save to start out game number 3.
Big push there downfield by German Amigos, immediately turned away from Team Liquid. The rotations are on point, the spacing is there, and great read there by Ato to take that away from Tox. The passing play was trying to be developed. Zazoski can't find that, or he did get the touch. Passes it infield, it was soft and light and barely changed his trajectory. Threw the defense off, and that's why you're seeing some sustained offense right now. But for German Amigos, they just need to try and play a little bit quicker. Try and match the speed for Team Liquid. They're not going to do so exactly, but you can just quite get there to make these challenges a little more efficient rather.
It's going to be more hard and much more difficult to whenever you don't have the boost. I mean, this midfield presence from Team Liquid has definitely regenerated coming into game 3. I'm sure they're feeling a lot more confident after taking a game themselves in this series. But German Amigos, they certainly do have the speed to match it, and you don't always have to go for a challenge trying to win that 50-50. Just anything to get a touch on the ball to throw off Team Liquid, ruin their possession just for a second. That can give your teammates enough time to get back. When a Chronic has another solo play, this man just can't stop going for these air dribbles on the net of German Amigos.
Zazoski coming in, keeping the offense alive for Team Liquid, and again, it has just been Team Liquid getting all of the offense so far. 6 shots to German Amigos.
But look at this, look
Just
at this.
as I say that, they get a shot on goal that turns into a goal.
Stubby, it's an illusion. German Amigos, they might look like they're defeated. It might look like Team Liquid are surely going to score. But through all this defense, all of the boost starvation, the pressure, it's all coming down on them. One transition downfield. You catch Team Liquid in that trap of overextending, and you've got the first goal.
German Amigos doing their best at really hypnotizing Team Liquid, just pulling them in to the orange half, making them feel more than comfortable, saying, yep, you're winning this, you're getting aggressive, you're getting the shots, and it's not working out as a Chronic can't push that one through, almost had the 50 to get it on net. And Turtle, this has just been a masterclass of defense so far from German Amigos.
Boy, that's also the biggest test to Team Liquid's mentality. This is a frustrating game. When you're a pro player, Subi, the most frustrating games to play are the ones where you know you have the pressure, but you can't punish, you can't put away these shots where you're given opportunities. It's ridiculous. This goal is just hanging just barely out of reach for all Team Liquid. They can't seem to grasp it, but this ball a bit clear down the other side. Maybe we get one from Aussie. So much space here. Barely any boost. Ato needs to find a shot, but again, denied defense from German Amigos, not letting up.
Yeah, Turtle, I think you're exactly right. It's just one of those things where you're playing and saying, what else do we have to do to find success? As Fox can't quite get there. Ivan was looking for the demo, ends up getting demoed for his efforts instead. And right now, you got to expect Team Liquid to show some frustration. What do they got to do here, Turtle? 14 shots on target, but it has just been a brick wall for German Amigos.
If you look at the history for what won the previous game, it was the demos, the physical gameplay. Yes, they were taking boosts. Yes, they had possession, but at the end of the day, it was the timing of when they went for demos and having well-executed plays that are much more prepared moving forward. I mean, you can't just send a Chronic alone every single time. You've got to have multiple layers to this approach. One person going for demos, one for a solo play. How is that third man then getting involved? There's a lot of different moving factors, and Team Liquid can't put all of the pieces together against this German Amigos defense.
35 seconds remain here in game number 3. Team Liquid still searching for their first scratch. Completely denied by German Amigos. German Amigos looking for their second shutout of the series, but 20 seconds seconds to go here, Turtle. Team Liquid once again knocking at the door of German Amigos, finding shots. They're on the right side of the field, but it is just completely bottled up in the net. Less than 10 to go. Tox can't quite find the touch. Ivan keeps it alive, and here comes a toe. He needs a big challenge. He gets just that, but no one there to follow up. And German Amigos put Team Liquid on match point.
This is ridiculous. You talked about Team Liquid finding shots. That was an understatement. It's going to be Team Liquid 14 shots up against German Amigos. What on earth is going on here, Scooby? This is ridiculous. Team Liquid, despite having all the pressure, despite having all the possession, these shots not quality enough to get through the defense.
My apologies, I misspoke. I said match point. We're only getting into game 5. What are we thinking here? All right, it's not best of
Are you trying to end this early? Is that what you're secretly saying? You want this to be a best of 5? You want to get out of here? What are you saying here?
Turtle, you know how much I love you. You know how much I want to hang out with you.
Good.
If I don't hold on. Wait. Let's bring some personal stuff into this. Who bailed on who during our vacation? Anyway, we'll get to that another time. I love you. I would never, ever want to leave you earlier than I have to.
I was bringing up vacation. I actually can't believe what I'm hearing right now. And I also can't believe what I'm seeing from Team Liquid. They've got all these opportunities to be. What worked previously with the Devils? What is the answer? What is the change that they need to implement? Because right now, my brain, I don't think I'm smart enough to figure this out. Currently, this is too much of a puzzle right now. We're going to have to see how it comes together. Is it Dronic or Solo plays better? Dronic's off the crossbar, still not working.
Right place, right time for Catalysm. And for Team Liquid, the only thing I can think of, Turtle, the only thing that they aren't doing right, other than hitting shots, because they're really not there, is the Devils. They've got to do something to disrupt this defense, because German Amigos are so comfortable on that back line. Right now, they're sitting at second in all of Europe for save percentages at 65%. And if you're Team Liquid, yeah, you're getting the shots on target, but German Amigos has shown time and time again that if you're going to put a shot on net, more than likely, they're going to save it. But you have to do something to change that.
Yeah, and even if you're starving out German Amigos with the boost, that has not been enough to force them out of a position where they can get a save. Here comes Tox, dribble down the other side. Let's see how this game unfolds. Again, this is the best of 7, a long series, plenty of time for both teams to adapt and change their play styles. And for Team Liquid, the ball is in their court. They need to be the ones to make a shift.
Yeah, and Earl, again, you've complimented them on a lot of things, but the one thing that isn't there is the shooting percentage. And right now, they really need to just dial in Oski's number. He has been the bread and butter for this offense. When the bump comes in on the back line to get a toe out of the picture, and Tox has a wide open net to shoot at.
Tox has been the bread and butter for the offense of German Amigos. There was a lot of chaos inflicted downfield right behind the defender. First goal in favor of German Amigos. The orange team continues to prevail. Now, Team Liquid, more shots their way and more saves for German Amigos.
Jeez. Bad news for Team Liquid is they've yet to win a game when German Amigos scores first. And these teams do have a lot of history between them. And when you look at it, it heavily favors Team Liquid. As German Amigos have only won 1-1, a save on the goal line, and again from a Chronic holding down that back line. But German Amigos looking to change history, put another win against Team Liquid, bring that series even closer between these two teams.
I genuinely do think that the group stage was perfect preparation for German Amigos coming out of here, especially up against Oxygen, such a offensively minded team. They know how to handle a challenge does come through, he's not even touching the ball. Team Liquid has got to get things together.
Yeah, I agree, Turtle. I think you try and almost let German Amigos on offense a little bit more so that way you can counterattack, because you've shown that you can't score on them when they have 3 players in the net. So try and do it if you have a man advantage. They've only got 2 back, they only got 1 back. They're rotating back. Something to change things up. But here comes the toe. Ball on his hood. Gets the flick. Wow. Catalysm comes in. He wasn't on the play, wasn't on the call, but smart heads up play, realizing his teammate was about to be bumped, and comes in for the save.
And Scooby, if there's going to be a player who changes things for Team Liquid, in my opinion, I think it's going to be Oski. I mean, he came out group stage. Hold on a second. Catalysm?
It was a bump. It was another bump.
What on earth?
German Amigos. Look at Tom. I mean, it's a nasty hop out of the corner. Catalysm reads it well. But the bumps for German Amigos have just been causing chaos for Team Liquid on the back line. And German Amigos up 2 goals. 60 seconds remain. Team Liquid need a quick one.
Need a quick one indeed. And I was just talking about how I think Oski is going to be the difference maker if we see Team Liquid get back into the game. I mean, he came out with the most goals per game out of groups with 1.31 per game, excuse me. Now, I'm on his perspective, and I'm trying to see how he's rotating. He's so aggressive. He constantly will push down the other side, take a corner boost, try and starve out German Amigos, and that's not working. Here he is over-rotating past the ball. Now can't get a touch. He takes the midfield boost, and he's waiting, but no clearance coming his way as the Chronic just opts to go for a solo play. This one is finally pushed across, and here it is for Team Liquid, the first goal.
And it takes all 3 members getting involved. Oski gets the big boost deal, looks for a bump, and rotates through, and just a great passing play to open things up. And there's life for Team Liquid.
There we go. And that was such a good heads-up play from Oski. He was waiting for a clear, saw that it wasn't going to come out, and decided to go for a demo instead. That quick decision-making is what's necessary and might just get them back into this one. But with 7 seconds to go, might be too little, too late. A toe looking for a better 50-50. A Chronic off the backboard, Tox is up for the shot and denies it quickly and over the past defender. Nice little flick, good response, but is that enough, Scooby? I don't think so. And
Still up, no
maybe this
way.
ball. Do we hover all the way to the other side? Team Liquid, they can certainly do it, but German Amigos have other plans indeed, and they send us to match point.
And now it's match point, Turtle. Best of 7. German Amigos up 3 games to 1. And this is a shocker for a lot of people, as Team Liquid are going to take their time out, talk things over. And that's a perfect call. What else can you do other than talk about it? Communication going to be key here for the young guns of Team Liquid.
I feel like the communication isn't there. Like I was talking about how I was pretty much for the second half of that game, I was only on Oski's perspective. I wanted to see how he was trying to make a difference, how he was trying to make an impact. Frequently, I would see him get so aggressive, rotate all the way down the other side, all the way down the other field, and he would be patient, Subi, and be waiting for these clears to come out that would never find him. He would just be stuck in no man's land. So for Oski, I think the key is actually to dial it back a little bit. Try and maybe take the midfield boost, but don't overextend too much. Help out with that transition, because these clears aren't even coming to him. So he's essentially in no man's land half of the time. And I think that change in rotation could be a huge game plan, moving forward.
Or do you, if you're the coach, do you just say, hey, Oski, no rules for you this game?
Will you let him go even more crazy? He's already playing like that. The man is already unleashed, in my opinion. But I mean, if there's anything else he could unleash, I'm here for it.
You're right. I'm just trying to think and just throw anything out there. We're brainstorming right now because he's got 18 goals so far, and in between yesterday and today, he's been the offense for Team Liquid, but for Team Liquid, they've only scored 4 goals, and they've been shut out in 2 games, so they've got to figure out something else. And again, Turtle, I know it can get repetitive, but the demos are available. The bumps are available for Team Liquid. Take the gloves off. Play dirty. Do whatever you can to just try and get a little bit of opening on the German Amigos net, because Team Liquid, like that, it's just those small windows that are going to be available. They're not giving you much, so you got to make them count.
Yeah, and that play where we saw the only goal in that previous game we just casted, Oski was going for a demo. He opted to not wait for a clear or try and get any playtime on the ball. He said, I'm just going to go for a demo, and that's what works for him. But we have returned from the timeout. We're back into it, and we'll see if that little break gives a little bit of some momentum back in favor of Team Liquid, as they do start out on the right foot with some close shots. But of course, as I say that, saved immediately and transition down the other side. Why do I even bother? Why do I even bother? It looks good. It looks like we're going to see a goal from Team Liquid, but no. One counterattack, one transition, and Tox gets one goal.
Oh, that's just unfortunate from a Chronic, as he kind of rattles that one in. And just like that, German Amigos strike first in game number 5.
Off the timeout, too.
You hate to see it. Unless you're a German Amigos fan, then you love it. But for Team Liquid, you got plenty of time to work with, yes.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, you need to get a quick one, because the longer this game goes, the more comfortable German Amigos are going to be. And we've seen when they're comfortable, they're brutal to get by.
That was almost a big mistake from Oski on the backboard. Found no touch to his name. Big demo from Ivan, however, will open up some space, but immediately challenged by Oski. Ball slipped out into the midfield. Good counterattack. And, I mean, look at that transition. It's always looking for Oski. I like it, but still the pass not too accurate. Maybe this one, a Chronic. We've been waiting for some kind of highlight performance, some pop-off play by himself, and he finally comes up with one.
Oh, I would say highlight, hello, and I would say pop-off, hello. He gets that nasty angle out of the corner to tie this game up, and right on cue, Turtle. They needed a quick one. They found it off of the shoulders of a Chronic.
That might be the boost in confidence that all three of them needed. Understanding that, yes, we can pull through with these solo plays. We can convert, even if it's just one player alone. But Ivan's still looking for demos. Chronic by himself, another solo dribble. And yes, Oski is hunting, and that's much more immediate. Normally he would linger for the clear, but immediately is Oski looking for the demos. Which is what I like to see. But Catalysm, here we go off the backboard top. It looks like he had most of the net to shoot at. And he comes up accurate.
Well, the demo just booted a Chronic out of the picture, and I love this pass going all the way across the box to the left. The shot goes all the way out to the right towards the post, and German Amigos immediately answer. Team Liquid put themselves back up by 1.
So this feels out of reach for Team Liquid. They get one goal, it's a solo play, there's a sign of life, but immediately rejected. Turn back around for German Amigos. Booming clear. And we're about to approach halftime.
There we go.
Team Liquid getting the demos, that's what you like to see, Subi.
Love to see it. Slows them down just enough. And when you play at the speed of light, just those blinks are what matter, as the Chronic coming in, going to rotate out. Great communication from Team Liquid to keep this ball alive. And that's something you would question during their timeout, was the communication. And it seems like they were listening, Turtle. Communication a factor there.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this one. It was perfectly read from Catalysm, but we did have this setup in place from Team Liquid where one player was downfield already in the air. And we'll see, what does the Chronic do with his first touch? He keeps it to himself, finds Oski. Threading the needle is Team Liquid, keeping the one transition they need to find a goal, Subi.
Well, it's up. Cox. Let's see what he does with this. He's going to go towards the net, and Chronic keeps it alive. Ivan there, and this one going to be too far forward.
Karmine Corp, you doubt them even a little bit, and you realize, why would I ever do that? Because they've got the players, Batira, Exotic, Itachi. Everybody talks about Batira. Oh, Batira's the best player in the world. Batira this, Batira that. I think Itachi is also one of the main players who keeps this team alive and makes it so consistently hard to beat these guys.
They're a team that have a little bit of everything about them, Karmine Corp. When they need to, they can turn on this explosive power and just force a goal, force 2 goals in minimal time. But they can also, as you say, thanks mainly to Itachi, the man who touches the ball there, play such a solid style as well. It's rare to beat them, but we did see in Rotterdam when Moyes came up against them that they can be beaten.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also did see Team Vitality, who Johnny Boy was mentioning, take down K-Corp in game number 5 as a couple of demos are flying left and right on our screens. K-Corp under some immense pressure, but finally a big opening comes through and a booming clear down the other side from Batira.
As for G1, one of the few teams that are unbeaten so far in this event, alongside the team that beat Karmine Corp in Vitality. And it was really interesting for anybody who saw it during the break, the interview that we had with Atomic from G1. He was talking about how cool they are in these high-pressure moments. They won't tilt out, they won't turn on each other, and they're gonna have some tricky moments right now against Karmine Corp. I think that is a guarantee, so they'll have to show their mentality.
Yeah, and I think that the last series with Team Liquid, and regardless of them having so much pressure up against German Amigos, that mental game really came through. And if G1 are as consistent in that mental game, I'm sure no matter the obstacle, they can definitely overcome it.
Well, step on for G1 to overcome is to make sure that Karmine Corp don't spend too much of the game camped up in that orange half of the pitch. You saw them all 3 of them were just there lingering, waiting for the ball, which is exactly what G1 do not want. They are desperate to play on the front foot. Wow, when Karmine Corp are passing it around like this, so fast, 1-0.
I mean, okay, look at this recovery from Batira. He wins the 50. The landing on the backboard. It doesn't look super flashy. It doesn't look absolutely unbelievable. It's not as flashy as a flip reset, but I guarantee you it's almost just as hard to land right under the ball. Get the perfect touch where it's not too strong out into the midfield for Itachi. That is why Batira is regarded as one of the best, if not the best.
One of many, many reasons why he's regarded so highly. Here he is again. Can't quite get as good a catch as last time. Does manage to get a decent 50-50 towards his teammate Exotic, who ends up keeping the ball yet again in that left corner as far as G1 are concerned. They have to be able to break free a little bit more often than they already are, because right now it's Karmine Corp that have got the squeeze on them, and so much of that is Vatira's pace. Another couple of clean touches on the G1 backboard. G1, one of the most aggressive teams in the world, one of the faster teams as well in EU, but they are really struggling to deal with this hasty pace right now.
Yeah, but here comes Atomic, though. They were struggling previously, and that was a fancy little double tap from Atomic to get something on the board or any form of traction here for G1, but nice challenge as well from Atomic, and maybe the double tap, he missed it, but it worked as a fake, and we do get a response.
Only the second shot so far for G1, and it ends up nestling its way into the net. It was Atomic who actually beat Batira. Exotic couldn't believe what he was seeing, his French teammate being beaten to the ball, and suddenly Dorito finds an easy finish into the bottom left corner.
I like the narrative of just, they're never expecting each other to miss. I mean, do you think that's actually true? How much faith do you think these guys, K-Corp, have in each other to constantly overpower and win every challenge? I mean, there's got to be a conversion right there, maybe 90% of the challenges, but Atomic, hello, welcome back, and we got the second goal for G1.
They did say that they weren't afraid to go in when the going got tough, G1. The going was very definitely tough at the start of this game, but suddenly, 2 fast goals, and they're the ones in the ascendancy. So now it's the next question. Atomic also talked about the fact that they have to improve their defense. Are they going to be able to hold out? Will they even try to hold out against Karmine Corp over these next couple of minutes? I think we know the answer. They're going to try and get a third, but first, they will have to keep the ball away. Tira's to the side, Itachi's coming in. He should be bumped away by Dorito, and was. Atomic can't quite get his second touch though, so that should let Karmine Corp in. Exotic to the backboard. Dorito misses, and Mark by 8's there to help him out.
That's absolutely the right approach, Cole, is keeping the onslaught moving forward. You don't want to let up on the aggression, especially a team that is so efficient as K-Corp. If you give them, you know, 1 or 2 more extra chances where you could have been attacking, that might actually be the end of the game for you and the end of the lead. But a lot of the success for G1 has come down to Atomic. 81% goal participation. Itachi certainly going to try and match that number here as he gets the second goal, and the second goal to his name as well in game 1.
What a goal as well. I mean, Itachi is sharing a pitch with Exotic and Vatira. He's unlikely to be Mr. Mechanics, but he finds a way to squeeze the ball in his own little
Hey, that was
way.
mechanical. What are you saying about that? That was very mechanical, right?
I reckon he had that in mind as soon as he went up. He's thinking, I'm going to get a
exactly.
dunk pogo.
Yeah. Dunk pogo, the new strat, the new meta. Mark by maybe he'll invent something as he...
Sounds like one of your songs, Dunk Pogo.
Oh, thank you very much.
Here is Atomic from his own backboard. He's met by Exotic. Two players with very similar names. I'm going to probably get mixed up a few times this series. I'll try not to. Here is Atomic yet again. Vatira's is waiting underneath. Going to try and get involved. Send that ball high above the G1 goal, but it's pretty safe again for Dorito, who can find Atomic. There's a shooting chance here, but it's not quite there for G1. I'll keep it going, though. Just a safe prod by Mark by 8 onto the backboard.
Look at that space.
Away.
You see all that space given to K-Corp? That ball was just floating, and nobody from G1 wanted to extend forward. We talked about how aggressive they can be, but it's a very awkward sign. Maybe they're just patient, knowing that K-Corp are in a sticky situation and are waiting for that one mistake to come out, but that might be the end of it because Itachi had some space to work with.
Huge clearance there from Dorito with 17 seconds left in this first game. Starting to get a little bit more important who gets the next goal. That one's above the goal by Atomic. Itachi tries to shepherd it away, but Dorito's in fast. Exotic up against Mark by 8. More good pace from Mark. He can't quite get the second touch again. That final hit for G1. Not quite there on a couple of key occasions. That could lead us to overtime, and I think now they would take overtime because this is some danger going into the 0-second period. Dorito does indeed push that ball down, and we head to OT in game number 1.
Yeah, it's definitely been a big weakness for G1 is the follow-up. Wherever that second or third man is positioned inside the box. But hold on a minute, that one, almost another wonky goal for Itachi. Tried to land on top of it where he was hovering above the net. More pressure coming out from K-Corp as heading into the OT. They were under all the pressure, but now they're the ones demanding it.
My goodness, it's looking a little bit dodgy in defense from G1 right now. Every time they're getting these touches in front of their own goal, it's not perfect enough. And Carmine Corp is starting to sense that blood in the water, but credit to G1. The Spaniards have managed to hold out for now, as we saw at the start of this game. Able to just keep Carmine Corp at arm's length when needed. They're coming forward again, though. Itachi has Vatira to his left. Misses the ball, actually. And Atomic can send it away. I think G1 will be happy for this one just to settle down for 10 seconds or so after the way the overtime started.
Yeah, and it's let Mark by 8 actually position himself better because it's settled down. Look at that big clear. He was able to get some boost to his name, find a better position, and KC were looking for a counterattack in Vatira, but he was positioned a slight bit too defensively, and a big miss from Itachi will set up another follow-up shot of Vatira, holding it down as that last man.
Dorito up against Exotic. A huge clearance from Exotic as well. Had to avoid the Dorito-shaped vehicle in front of him, and did so well. Mark is going for attack. He's almost got him yet again. Another almost for G1. So many of those moments early on in a best of 7, but you want to start off well if you're the underdog. So close to doing so. Gonna have to keep on trying. Atomic, Exotic gets it past him. Mark by 8 there into the center, and it was one awkward touch in defense too many, and Carmine Corp take game 1.
And it looked like Itachi saw this mistake from a mile away. He realized all this pressure was coming out from Exotic, and he's rotating in from the far side. Perfect angle, perfect strike, and KC take the first game.
I feel like that developed into a game that was perfect for Itachi because Carmine Corp weren't having everything their own way. At the beginning, it was the Vatira show. His mechanics were working, but G1, those frailties in defense, that's exactly where Itachi is always sniffing around, and he's always going to be the player that reads that 1 in 100 mistake that the opposition defense might be making.
The way that Itachi reads the game and understands where 50-50s are going to go, or maybe how a challenge might end up, or a pinch, or even a clear, it truly is on another level. And this is why I was bringing him up whenever we got into this series. Whenever Vatira isn't coming out with these mechanics, Exotic isn't doing as much on offense, you can always rely on Itachi to read the play. Whether he's getting the goals or he's setting it up, he will always be there to back you up and your teammates.
How happy will Carmine Corp be after that first game, do you think, Turtle?
Oh, very happy. I think that's like such a if you can win without crazy mechanics, Cole, and you can win without, you know, relying too heavily on outside situations or potentially having Exotic go up for a flip reset and just Itachi with these wonky mechanics, I think you're very confident moving forward.
Okay, well, the exact sort of ugly win that every team loves to have. Army Corp enjoyed there. G1 will be looking to get a bit more beauty into this second game. They're trying to force it by going to the backboard early. I'll change the question. How will G1 be feeling after that one? Because surely you're looking at that thinking, we should have won. We should have won.
I think there's definitely different perspectives you could have on that. You could get frustrated, and that's where the mental game can come through. You can either see it as, oh, we came so close, we were literally within one, we forced them into awkward situations, or you could view it as, oh my goodness, we should have won that. How did we not win that? And that's where the mental game and having a coach can really benefit you to stay positive and see the bright side of a lot of those mistakes.
Team to have that positivity so far. It's a good start to Forbidden Temple. Welcome back, Forbidden Temple, to the rotation. Happy to have it back in this winter split. G1 has started it a little bit stronger, keeping the ball in blue territory, at least for now. Atomic should be able to beat Exotic pretty comfortably here. Does Mark by 8 is coming in. Itachi saves it. Mark by 8. Not quite the finish he was after.
And it does look like they had to dodge a demo. Dorito was rotating as that first man, looking to take out a player off the backboard. Here comes the shot opportunity, but Vatira is going to opt out and try to keep some midfield possession, but it's not working. Both teams have had a couple of good looks, Cole, so far, but nothing too fruitful.
Exotic versus Atomic again. That duo combining once more. The ball ends up with Vatira. Wants to go over the top of Mark by 8, but can't quite do so. So now Atomic in his far corner, just prods it past Itachi. That's the sort of touch that can open things up for G1. How's the bounce? Doritos following it, but again the shot wasn't quite there. G1, will they rue these missed chances?
I think so. I mean, they're sneezing on the ball. There's no power behind any of these shots. Good opportunities, good setups, but when it comes to make the final strike, they are whiffing quite hard, Cole, and that will bite them at the end of the day because you're not going to get too many chances.
And you know that KC only need one. And they will more often than not take it, especially with Exotic on the ball. Vatira is waiting to come in the center. Dorito, no, it's wide again.
Oh, come on.
Even though it's in his own half, that's a good chance.
Oh, even though it's in his own half, it's still an open net and a direct line of sight to the goal you've got to punish.
Exotic, slow the game down for Carmine Corp right now because you are the team at risk of chucking this one away. Surely G1 eventually going to make the most of one of these mistakes.
Oh my,
but Vatira, he only needs half a chance. Itachi's shot is a little bit weak this time. Mark by 8 flicks it high. Pretty nervous position here in this game. The first goal's so important, you would expect.
Just gonna set the tone, set the mood for how game number 2 is gonna go. This is the best of 7. Reminder, folks, a long series ahead. Plenty of time, but we want to continue building momentum if you're K-Corp, or get back in the series immediately for G1. Vatira, back-to-back demo. Space opened up. Exotic, another line of sight on the shot. Can't find it, and it's saved with the follow-up.
No one wants to score this game. Every shot is going to the center of the goal. Someone, find one of those corners, please. Mark by 8, maybe it's you. Instead, you take out Itachi. Atomic can take a second, boom it to the corner of the pitch, not the corner of the goal. Exotic was already waiting for the ball. This is better from G1, a little bit more purpose to their approach. They are going to have to head back. I think they've run out of boost. Mark by 8 turns into it. Itachi up against Atomic. Some 50-50s go the way of Carmine Corp, at least for now, until Dorito can slow things down. Decent play from G1. They've managed to wrestle that ball back, wrestle the intensity back for themselves. But all it takes, yet again, is one touch to clear, and G1 are going to have to reset.
But I really like this from Dorito. I mean, look at all this space this man can work with. Over Vatira, off the backboard, Atomic up early. There's 2 players in the net, which means, of course, one of them is going to find a free jump save. K-Corp somehow get away with it.
Atomic beats Itachi to this one, though. Ramping up the pressure right now, G1. Mark by 8, another shot. That one's wide. And Vatira to the side. Now it's Dorito's turn. No boost to play with. G1 so desperate to keep this ball in KC territory. They do want to let this shot go. Dorito wants to take out Itachi and can't quite do so. Mark by 8's turn this time. That's a better shot, but Exotic saves it. And he slows it down, and he gets it away. Beautiful defensive play there from Exotic. 25 seconds left.
Blue goal line under so much stress at the moment. And they finally alleviated a lot of that. Itachi, nice little first touch. Potentially opens up an opportunity, but Another great response, and we're seeing probably the best defense, I'd say, out of both of them, and that's what's held us scoreless in game number 2. Do we get OT?
I wouldn't expect it in this game. This is the sort of game that seems like it would have a 0-second goal at the end of all this strain and pressure. Atomic wants to put it down. Is anyone arrived? Dorito, and again, the finish isn't there. It's overtime. It's 0-0, and next goal is going to win.
Oh, wait, what is this? Atomic Dorito 2-on-1, another opportunity. Wasted. You felt the buzzer beater. You saw the opportunity, but they just couldn't execute.
7 shots for each team, but you feel the difference is that for G1, all 7 of those shots could have, maybe should have been goals on a different day. But only 1 goal is going to matter, and it's going to be the first one in game number 2. Exotic puts it into the center. You don't want to have done that. Tira to the corner, a little bit safer from him. A couple of touches, bopping it on his car, and now he can follow it. Marked by 8 with the big booming clearance. Comic's just waiting behind him, in formation right now for G1. Armin Corp want to take the sting out of this tail. And to be fair, they've managed to do so. It's a shot there from Exotic. Itachi's coming in. This could be an absolute steal, but Mark by 8 gets the save. And a huge demo as well from Dorito. Now Mark by 8 can chase it. Again, pretty low on boost. All he can get is a 50-50 against Vatira, and not quite the same. That time against Exotic it was. And Itachi clears it yet again.
Yeah, you bring up Itachi, but he's the player who was so consistent in the first game. He had that opportunity to end this OT, but he found the very center of the net. Of all the plays, again, got it right at the goalkeeper. Opportunities. Now for both sides, initially we could harp on G1, but this is K-Corp failing to shoot accurately and with power.
One of the more interesting 0-0s I think I've seen for quite some while. The amount of real chances that we've had. Vatira, he can always cause a chance. Look at him, nobody can get the ball off his car when he has it dancing on top of it like that. Is it coming for Exotic? Now Atomic has Mark Bayer behind him, so we can really attack this air dribble. Try and make something from it. Vatira's touch is awkward. That's going to let an Atomic, and it's going to be an own goal! After all of this, finally what brings it into the game is a calamitous mistake from the defense.
What is this game? Exotic in the midfield. He must have expected a touch from Itachi. On his cam, he's rotating back. He touches on the backboard. Exotic just hits the brakes, and it bounces right off his forehead.
What? You asked me in game 1, Turtle, when a Carmine Corp player goes up, to what extent do their teammates believe they're gonna 100% hit it? I think that's your answer. I think that's your answer right there. Itachi even thought about going for it, and Exotic thought, he's Itachi. He's gonna get it. But he didn't.
For some reason, I'm happy it ended like that. Like that was the perfect conclusion to this wonky game where nobody wanted to get a proper goal, and instead we just got this forehead smash own goal from Exotic, and that was the best way to end it. And now G1, they've got a chance to at least take the series momentum with a lead in game 3.
Wild game of Rocket League. You won't see too many like that. That's the return of Forbidden Temple. It brings with it good luck for all of us viewers. Not so much good luck for the
I was going to say, I don't know if that's good luck for Exotic, but I guess for entertainment purpose, yes.
Exactly. And that leaves us pretty much as we were. It's 1-1 in games. I think that G1 overall are shading this game though, because they will still, part of them will be thinking they could be 2-0 up in this series right now.
Yeah.
I would wager they've looked slightly the better team throughout.
And like, how much does that dethrone K-Corp in your mind if you came in here and you had them on this pedestal and then you see them hit that own goal and you start to think to yourself, if you're G1, okay, no, these guys also make very blatant mistakes as well, and we can apply pressure to enforce that. Moving forward, maybe that brings a lot more confidence, and Atomic, a solo play at that caliber would bring more confidence. Even the opportunity looked good.
Again, it's how you take it, how you talk to yourself, what the coach is saying. Do you think, they've made a mistake, or do you think we forced them to make an error? I mean, it doesn't matter what you think for the last game. Itachi's got those doinking skills.
Yep.
What a finish.
I was about to say, the doink of a lifetime. And it's Vatira, that setup too. Vatira faked the midfield challenge to keep the ball moving forward. Nice little doink from Itachi, and they can end the curse. What are you laughing at? What's wrong, Cole?
It's just the most underutilized move. And for anyone who doesn't know, I love the doink, where you let the ball bounce in your car and just bounce to the other side. So hard to defend. And pros, they struggle with them normally. I don't know why, but that was how you do it.
But it's weird because normally if you're gonna get a doink, wait, hold on, okay, I got scared for a second. If you're gonna get a doink, there has to be nobody coming in for a challenge. Like Itachi had so much space to get the doink. Most of the time you've got a player going in for a 50-50, so it's not as effective, but I guess for Itachi, he realized he had all that space.
Carmine Corp keep things going. They are in the lead now in this game. A good start for them. Glad we're not going to have another long, drawn 0-0 in this one. We're going to see some goals. Itachi, he's desperate to get himself on the score sheet again. Already on 4, I believe, in this series. So he's been getting plenty. Vatira's not a bad striker himself. Well, and he put it just to the side, hoping a teammate would be coming in, but it wasn't happening. And so far, this is looking a little bit more like game number 1, with KC having all the pressure.
We'll see. Maybe G1 can change the trend of Carmine Corp making every grand finals, or Itachi will keep popping off the same way he has the whole series.
The man can't be stopped. Here he goes again. Vatira tees him up. Itachi follows it up, marked by 8.
Wow.
Left just stranded in the center of the pitch. Itachi's one of those players who makes it look so simple.
Yep. You have to give credit, too, to the setup. That's another good pass from Vatira. That's been a duo in Game 3. Vatira in the midfield manages to open up space, and Itachi is the one player who can convert and strikes well. 2 goals to his name, 5 shots in total for K-Corp, and G1 are pretty quiet on the other side.
G1 just starting to inch forward a bit too much. Vatira had a chance there. Now it's Exotic who puts it away. And it's looking a little bit simple for them. G1, they said their mental is good. They won't overcommit and get frustrated, but so far forward, the third man there.
I don't think that would have happened as well if Vatira didn't get a touch off the backboard. You could say it was a bit lucky with how it positioned itself and almost pinched off the backboard, but Vatira has been the pillar of all of these passes, getting 3 assists for all 3 goals. Ridiculous stuff, and now able to thread the needle. He's also going to get one to his name, a goal by himself, or actually, not necessarily, I do believe it was assisted from Itachi, but the striking, you can definitely credit that to Vatira.
I think what we've discovered in this series is that KC don't like being made to look silly. Because
You think they're mad? You think they're upset?
I think they are incredibly mad. I think they know that all the people in Twitch chat going, oh, lol, haha, overtime, own goal. And then this is what they do. It's
I
your
love that
guys'
impression.
fault. They are punishing poor old G1 right
Wow.
now. So I hope you feel
Wow.
proud of yourselves, chat.
So basically, you never want to force an own goal against K-Corp. That's just the worst situation possible. You think it's good for G1.
Yeah.
The mental would be there, but K-Corp, I guess they're angry. They've been bullied down, and now they're making you look silly as a result.
The only time to do it would be in a Game 7 or a Game 5 overtime.
Okay.
When the series is done, then you can force them to score an own goal all you like. Because if you do it too early, this happens.
Oh my!
Nah, Dorito, why would you save that?
Almost had it, Cole.
Yeah, I know, that'd be
Almost
great.
fancy little catch in there. You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Well, the game might be alive if Dorito can score. It was a pretty weak finish from him. G1 just trying to get themselves some sort of chance in this game right now, or at the very least, bring some momentum into game number 5. That's looking, sorry, game number 4. It's looking a long, long way away right now.
We'll see. G1. I mean, they've gotta have something in the vault. Okay, something spicy, something extra saucy. I'm prepared. What do they do? What do they do? They're 4 down against K-Corp. You can literally throw any play style you've had in the lab. You've been picking up. Just give us something different because it has not been working for the first 3.5 minutes. And marked by 8. What a strike.
Suddenly they've got 79 seconds to get themselves 3 goals, which is very, very possible. Marked by 8 with a gorgeous little redirect. Itachi helped it on its way. Not quite an own goal. The ball was already going in, so we're not going to have another version of enraged KC punishing G1 for that own goal right there. I wonder how this kickoff goes. It's good for KC. This is where game management is so important for Carmine Corp, because it is possible to concede 4 goals in a minute, 20 odd seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that K-Corp understand that 100%. And as a result, we're going to see probably more of a defensive approach, but that could benefit G1 and allow them to get demos. Marked by 8 was able to punch out that last defender, but a quick rotation in from K-Corp saves the day and will stall even more time and get the 5th goal for Exotic.
That's great play from Exotic as well, because G1 were just starting to get a bit more pep in their step. They were looking a bit happier with things the way it was going. So that goal is going to push them away yet again. And this is why we love watching Carmine Corp, when they do manage to get that little bit of space on the ball. their mechanics can show.
Yeah.
And this is the first game I would say in the series where their mechanics have really shown.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And it actually started with Itachi and Vatira, that duo, taking the first step. And here they come again off the backboard. Dorito is very slow to get the follow-up. Flip reset attempt as well. I do like the mechanics. The striking has been in peak form in this game, and that's not something that we were able to say in the previous one, not only because of the own goal, but also so many wasted chances where they were right in front of the net goal, but the accuracy, they were finding defenders in the net versus the open space.
Oh, here's Vatira. He's got another edgeable on the go. He just about got caught by the defender, so couldn't turn it into anything else. This game, long since dead. It's going to be 2-1 Carmine Corp in this series. It's such an important series as well. You're in the first regional of the split, the Winter Open. You are desperate to make it into that top 4, and that is why G1 after that game will be taking a tactical timeout to talk things through, because the pressure is really high in the context of this split and making the major, even at this early stage.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is the right time to take a timeout, especially with how drastic the difference in the score line in this game alone was, and you just need a break, a mental break to reset, to understand that, okay, we can come back from this. Again, we have to remind ourselves that we made them own goal, all right? They need to have that at least going through their brains and maybe implement some kind of change. This just looked pretty dominant from K-Corp, who were able to execute better on those opportunities.
Yeah, it was the first game in this series where G1 looked flat, which is definitely a disappointment for them, because even in the first game that they lost, I would say that if they didn't look like the better team, it was certainly competitive and close. I imagine what they're saying is just to let that one go, not to take too much from the game that just happened. You know, Itachi was absolutely smashing them at the beginning, and he's been having a great series, but it was Vatira that was breaking through their defense. Sometimes against Carmine Corp, arguably the best team in the world, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially looking back as a player, or if you're a coach, there's really no point in seeing a game that's as one-sided as that and understanding that, okay, it just wasn't the top performance for us. There's no point in nitpicking every single individual play. They know they just have to simply elevate all of them and all of their play styles together, and they can definitely do that moving forward. And G1, always a team that can pull out random surprises when you don't expect it, and I hopefully get to see something crazy moving forward, and maybe they can embarrass K-Corp a little bit more.
Maybe. I dread to think what would happen in game number 5 if that does happen here in game number 4. So I'm hoping for their sake that they don't embarrass Carmine Corp. If I'm their coach, I'm saying whatever you do, don't do that. But I mean, we're seeing these highlights now, and at this point, Itachi was the only player who'd scored for Carmine Corp. He's having such a good series for them, and he's not really known for his goal scoring.
And a lot of it started out with Vatira having that setup. You mentioned Itachi. Normally, you know, it could be Itachi up to Vatira who's hitting the shot, but this time it's swapped a bit. Vatira sets up the space, and you've got Itachi who's as consistent as ever. This player, always in the right spot where he needs to be. He can fill in anywhere on the field. And in this instance, K-Corp, they didn't have the firepower. They didn't have the striker. What does Itachi do? He steps up, he starts hitting those shots, and his teammates can follow.
Game 4, Utopia, 2-1 Carmine Corp, and G1 have used their secret weapon, their tactical timeout. Normally so effective at managing to turn the momentum of a series on its head, but Carmine Corp, they're just good enough to deal with that. They should be able to win this game the way they're playing in the last one. It's actually starting well again for Carmine Corp, barreling more pressure on that G1 defense. When Carmine Corp get going and get their momentum going, they really pen G1 back. Oh no, and that doesn't help.
Yeah, this is a painful one. Somebody was in position for the midfield challenge. I believe it was Mark by 8 rotating back in. He tried to cut in early. The pass from Vatira would have gone to the left. Instead, it bounces off Mark by 8. The goalkeeper doesn't expect it. And the first goal for team.
Unfortunately, the own goal counter for this series does have to tick along to 2. Sorry, Mark by 8. I don't think that one was going in until your touch, Nate. To give an indication of the power of the tactical timeout, G1, who might be about to go 2-0 down, have taken 3 before this season and won all 3. And now, already, in this game against Carmine Corp, it's looking like they're facing an uphill battle. So Carmine Corp really stepping it up at the moment.
It's gotta be frustrating too, because I mean, you imagine what it feels like. You take an extra 60 seconds, come back in here, completely reset. Maybe you forgot about the previous game and all of the mistakes that you were able to make. Then boom, right again, you're put under the spotlight on your defensive side and start to think, oh, maybe this one will slip away as well. But hopefully that's not the case for G1 and they can battle back.
Dorito's going to send that one as far as he can, but Exotic was waiting. The pass into Itachi was a smart one. Dorito was just in the perfect position to send it away. Atomic helps out, and you can see the defending from G1 is, to me, looking just a little bit desperate. They're booming the ball as far as they can, but...
Oh my goodness.
What is it? What? Always cooking something. Itachi has been grinding the man packs.
I saw this play develop all the way from the blue corner. He controlled it effortlessly, got around the first defender, then air dribbled it through, gets the flip reset, took it from his own end. It's not just a transition, it's a full court carry, and he gets the second goal.
He's inspired by Morocco in the World Cup. That's the only explanation. The man is playing out of his skin right now mechanically. G1.
Oh, what more do you want of a teammate? You know, normally it's like, oh, you got a clear, nice. Oh, you got a flip reset over another defender, nice. Oh, you got a goal? Thank you. I'll take that.
He's doing all three. He's doing it all. He's scoring again.
Somebody stop this man in his positioning. Somebody stop Matira and the setups. Can anybody stop all three of K-Corp from dismantling your defense? I don't think so. They're gaining more and more speed, more and more momentum as we get into it.
They're looking like the team that made it to 3 grand finals in a row in the full split, winning one of them. G1 struggling to deal with it. As it stands right now, they're on the ropes. They're on the cusp of going out, G1. Still a couple of games to play of at least, but they just have to get something going in this next 2.5 minutes. Have to get a goal or two. Have to at least make Carmine Corp think, and it's not happening. Is there going to be a G1 play on the end of this? Yes, there is, though. Dorito gets them back involved in the series.
Yeah, and this is huge for G1. As much as we like to talk about K-Corp and the flashiness of it, G1 still have speed, still have the mechanics to outpace and outmatch K-Corp in a lot of different challenges in a lot of different ways, and they do so with that midfield approach. And it's wide open for Dorito to strike. Approaching halftime, 2:30 to go, and that's the way you want to get into the second half of this game with a goal to your name.
Oh, what a pass that was from Mark by 8. It just wasn't quite read. This is exactly where his teammates were, but it is there. Bang, 3-2.
Oh, and he's flying so fast into the air. You can see Dorito, perfect 50-50, off the top of the dome, into the middle, and Atomic so speedy to get up to that one.
I was just starting to count G1 out, maybe a little bit early, don't get me wrong, but it seemed that this wasn't going to happen. G1, they talked about their mental in the interview with Atomic. They're showing it now. Suddenly they're back in this game on Utopia. Can they ride this momentum? Dorito sends it forward. Fatira to the side, being hounded by Dorito. Exotic over the top, but now it's the Carmine Corp clearances that just go into a G1 player until that bump hasn't quite worked out for G1. Smart catches up against Fatira. A huge demo again from Dorito. Smart have the boost to do anything with it. Not quite then, but G1 Turtle well and truly now on the ascendancy.
Do K-Corp start to push back and feel the pressure? Maybe they try and get just as aggressive as G1 have been. There's been more demos. Fatira, maybe he can follow that one up. The bounce wasn't in his favor, but it doesn't matter because Exotic is there to have his back.
You have to close Fatira faster than that. If you let him get to this side of the pitch, 9 times out of 10, even if he doesn't score, he'll put the ball somewhere dangerous. And Exotic's finish at the end of it, he'd learned from that game too. That was pinpoint.
I could see the respect too. I was on, I believe it was Atomic's cam settings, and he believed in the Fatira double tap. He pre-jumped early, assuming Fatira is going to hit that shot. And as a result, he couldn't get a response or even another pre-jump for the follow-up from Exotic. And that just goes to show how much pressure can be applied when you've got a player like Fatira on your side.
A few demos are flying in now as well to open up this game even more. Itachi takes out 2 of them, but not quite the third. The 50-50's not bad either, though. Fatira has a chance to make this 5 and end the game. He can't quite take it. G1 going to try and keep on coming, but Itachi comes steaming in. Atomic has to go over the top of Exotic. Again, unable to do so. Exotic just puts the ball on a plate for his teammate. Itachi's waiting in the middle. He'd love one more goal to kill this one, but he's going to have to show some patience for now. Exotic, though, look at all the time that he can burn. G1, someone go! Exotic's toying with his food. Dorito gets the next touch, but he would have loved those few seconds that he stole.
Yeah, it was a big break in rotation. Atomic was the player who was supposed to move forward, but he actually parked his car directly on the midfield boost, and more space for Vatira. And there's the double tap that we all expected him to hit before.
There it is, just over the top of two of them with the flick. And then it's like he's in a training pack in that situation. Vatira just has this inner sense of where Mark by 8 does not want the ball. And that's where it goes on the backboard.
It's all about making it out of reach for these players. If you're going up for a double tap like that, finding the perfect spot on the backboard where you can still hit the angle but keep it out of reach of the goalkeeper. And like you said, it looks like a training pack. It looks routine, textbook stuff from Vatira as they get possession back in this game. There was a moment, Cole, I'm not gonna lie, where, you know, we started to see the comeback from G1 and we're thinking, okay, we've got a game on our hands. It's not just gonna be all K-Corp, but they did battle back.
They squeeze the life out of you, the blue wall. As soon as you don't take that third goal chance, as soon as you give them a little bit too much space because you overcommit, they will just destroy you, as we have seen here. Another 3-goal difference in that one right there on Utopia. G1 are going to need 3 games in a row against the Carmine Corp that are finally hitting top gear in this tournament.
And we actually don't have any timeouts remaining, obviously, for G1, as they just took it to head into this one after losing 5-1 in game number 3. Now they lose 5-2 in game number 4. So there's some improvement. Okay, there's a little bit of some improvement. But interestingly enough, this has been a game of who can score first. The team to score first has won all of the 9 games played today. So getting that first goal, starting out strong, has been crucial with this series.
Would you say then that if G1 get the first goal in the next game, you're thinking, oh yeah,
set me up with
definitely
that.
got it.
Don't set me up with that, bro. I just hit you with a stat thinking I'm all smart, and now you're gonna call me out and make me go against what I'm saying. Because honestly, if G1 score first the next game, I'm still giving it to K-Corp, bro. I can't go against them.
You wouldn't go against the stats.
I'm going against it. I'm going against it, man. I don't believe in the stats. I only believe in the history of it, okay?
Okay, so Turtle doesn't believe in the stats. So if Carmine Corp score first in this game, Turtle will think that G1 will win it anyway.
No, that's not what I'm... Listen, K-Corp are winning this series anyway. I would love to get proven wrong. I just can't see a world right now where K-Corp don't take away a win in this series. And as I... Come on! What is going on? Bro, can I stand on any opinion ever? All right, I guess I'm just always...
Well, there it is. G1 take the first goal. A massive first goal, as Turtle was so keen to mention. The team to score
It's not
first
your fault.
has won all 9 games played so far today. Turtle believes in the perfect 10, but G1 are going to have to believe that they are perfect 10s.
Yeah.
They have such a good game right now if they're to take down Carmine Corp. Because in all seriousness, Turtle, Carmine Corp still look unstoppable despite that early goal.
Regardless of their early goal, they're still moving forward with pressure. Itachi's going to take the midfield boost and see what he can do with small first touch, tries to force it in the midfield. A big dunk from Vatira, and this pressure can continue moving forward for the blue wall.
Vatira is just waiting for the ball. What's he going to do? Mark by 8 just gets up as soon as he can. That's smart play. Don't let Vatira have too much space. He's going to grab some. His first touch is always perfect. Close him down as soon as you possibly can. Itachi is not about Imperials himself, is he? A huge demo. Exotic's waiting for it, but Atomic just puts it to the left. Exotic can go again, tease it up for himself. This is a good play from Carmine Corp, getting themselves straight back involved, especially when the backboard defending from G1 is imperfect. Dorito with a save from that backboard keeps G1 ahead.
I'm impressed with G1's ability to just maintain their lead, quite honestly, and not allow a mistake to come out of their defense, because K-Corp, they're so good at setting up their players in your box, the positioning, the rotations, wrapping around perfectly in front of the box. And it's so difficult to deal with. Now you've got a ball going off the backboard and all 3 players. This is the mistake that the positioning can bring out. This is what I'm talking about. All of this pressure. You think it's going to let up, and it finally does. This is why K-Corp are so hard to defend against.
How has he threaded that needle as well, Exotic? Look at this. Look at all the parts of the goal that were covered. And Exotic, via a bounce, that avoided Dorito still, manages to get it in that perfect, precise position. And, you know, we talked about the triple commit that they made on the backboard, G1. It's because they know if not one of those players gets the ball, Carmine Corp ain't gonna miss. You have to somehow get the ball away, because if you do make a mistake, you will be punished.
And then on top of that, you've also got to worry about, you know, the solo plays. Yes, you might be able to find perfect challenges for each shot, but then here comes Vatira with more flip resets, or potentially Itachi with a better creative setup, and so many layers to worry about. See what Itachi has in store to try and get the second goal. It's another bounce shot. All the respect is there for G1 on K-Corp.
Even when he misses, it still works out flawlessly. Look at this. I mean, place your bets. Did he mean this?
Oh, that... I think
gonna
he was
go
just
for
opting
it.
to go for a better challenge, maybe a
Yeah.
little iffy, and he's just like, oh, okay, I guess you're gonna not touch the ball. I'll take it.
He's definitely spamming calculated in Quick Chat right now. Because I don't care what level of Rocket League you're at. If you do that, you spam calculated in Twitch chat. This might be even more calculated. It's actually again. Ooh, just off the post and the game stays alive.
All right. Big transition for G1. The first time on offense in quite some time. Maybe they get a goal or just opening up some opportunities that you can build on, but you were down the other way immediately, Cole.
They're going to have to get over this respect that they've got for Carmine Corp right now. It's that respect which is why they're double committing. It's the respect which is why they're missing the shot, because they're constantly thinking this has to be perfection. Because if it's not, then we're going to get just almost humiliated by Carmine Corp. You have to let that go. If you are in G1, maybe their coach Kale needs to have a word and say, just play your game. You are unbeaten going into this series. Atomic's going to close down the clearance. So it just gets it through towards Dorito, and G1 have just about managed to start walking. Now can they start running?
It's going to be hard if you got a player like Exotic bumping you out of the way. He just got some of the best timing I've seen in rotation with a bump. I mean, rotating back and then took out Mark by 8. Even if he can't get a touch, he's still involved on the play off the backboard. Vatira's involved with this challenge, but immediately won by G1, and a better look for Mark by 8. He goes for a backboard read, but can't find it because of Exotic.
Mark Baez just always looked a few boosts short of what he wants to do in this series because he's chasing it so much with the pace that Carmine Corp have, so it's not quite able to work for him when he gets those double tap chances. Vatira, he can make this one work. He's gone to the backboard with the musty flick. It's almost paid dividends, but it was saved in the end. Now it's Apache's turn. Mark by 8 underneath. Goes
Going for the bump.
underneath him. Apache's trying to fake it again. Exotic's in. His own double tap goes wide. 1 minute, 10 seconds left. G1 need a goal. Vatira could be about to do exactly what they don't want, and that's the lead to a third goal for Carmine Corp. They are just incessant on the attack.
The Vatira-Itachi duo. Vatira flip resets over 2 of them. Ball bounces in front of the net, and G1 scrambling to try and make up for that given space. 3-1. Security's there. 1 minute and 5. Everything is on the line for G1. They've got to score soon.
Summit tries to make it happen, but it's met by Exotic, and that is how you defend the backboard. Not just catching the ball, not just waiting for the fake, then getting the ball all the way down to the other end, but that's a huge challenge.
Here we go, here we go.
It's going for bumps, but Atomic's forgotten the ball. The first thing you need to score a goal is the round thing in front of you.
Oh, you're already trying to prepare this super complex plan, and you forget to get the perfect touch. Atomic, the double tap off the crossbar. You needed to hit that goal. That was it, maybe Dorito. Oh, it's not it. The execution. It's not enough. That's not what you have.
Oh, no.
Cole, what is going on? How is that not a goal?
I'd love to say it's because of brilliant Carmine Corp defending, and in the end it was with Vatira's save, but until then, you had to score, and you would have given yourself 25, 26, 27 seconds left to score one. As it is, the 2-goal swing, and now you find yourself 3 goals behind. Carmine Corp are going to be making it into our semi-finals. They're going to be up against German Amigos. And maybe they're going to make yet another final. It's turning into a season of dominance for Carmine Corp. The only real mistake they've made since the start of the 22-23 season was losing to Moist over in Rotterdam. That's it. That's the only blemish.
And honestly, that might have added more fuel to the flame for KC. They had such a dominant fall split. They came up a little bit short at the major. I'm sure their expectations were clearly to win the whole thing, and here they come with a chip on their shoulder, a lot of frustration that they're letting out right now on the pitch against, unfortunately, G1, who are catching a lot of the smoke here.
Alone to maybe expect an upset.
And you've got to keep an eye on this Sonics team. They've taken down Quadrant yesterday, and they, had a great run despite losing twice to Oxford, and they did have a good run in the G1 Invitational midweek, beating Moist in that tournament as well. So they've got some quality wins recently. I feel like they've been playing very well. I've been hearing good things about them as well from players who previously wouldn't be saying good things about them. Oh, look at this. Smokes actually gets an opening goal. I think he might have faked out the goalkeeper on this one. It's a booming clear, gets launched downfield. That was the last touch. Jorius just thought he was coming back to get another touch on it, and he didn't actually have any cause to worry. It's just gone straight in.
and one of the more interesting goals that we will see today. That is the perfect start. Can it get better? No, Rise shuts that down before the shot can go rocketing towards the net. This has been an amazing position for Sonics to find themselves in. That pass not quite enough. Archie would have preferred to run onto it. A little bit of a kerfuffle there from Sonics, but at least it's happening on the offense. You don't want that in this position, though. You don't want it on defense. It's Matane. Almost wiped out, but he did enough.
Yeah, well played by Matane. You know, Matane and Arju have a long and, I'm going to say, sad history with RLCS at times. Getting so close, only to lose at the last match, only to fall at the final hurdle. So, you know, many different iterations of the roster. They've tried with Cash, they've tried with Ixo, now they've got Smokes, a Northern Irish player. And this is, I think, going to be the first time a lot of people in the wider Rocket League audience have seen Smokes play. And I think you're going to like what you see. This guy really has gelled brilliantly with Arjun Matane. In the short time they've been together, he scores again. That one, rifled to the top right corner. Left no chance for the goalkeeper for the second time in a row.
Nothing fancy about this whatsoever, just pure power. And not a single thing Yorius could do about it. Yes, I believe there's a lot of fans out there as well, Johnny, that have a bit of a spot in their heart when it comes to Matane and Arju. Arju especially, I feel, after his debut as that substitute role. I believe for Mouse Sports, it was a while ago now, actually. But everyone just sort of wants Arju to now go and succeed. Is this the roster to go and do it?
Yeah, there's a long list of players and teams in the past who have benched Arju, who have decided to go and team with other players instead of Arju. And, you know, many of those players are now players we don't see at the top level. Meanwhile, season after season, Arju just keeps on making it back in. You know, this is a no-pressure kind of matchup for them, I feel, because no one's expecting them to win this. We don't expect them to win this. I don't think they themselves will even expect to win. They're just going to go out and give it their best shot. But that underdog factor has favored Arju and Matane well in the past. It's suddenly when all the expectation is for them to win, that they've struggled in the past. So this is ideal circumstance for Sonics. That's my one angle that I like about them today, is that they're the underdogs. They tend to do well when they're the underdogs.
The angle they really like at the moment is the fact that they've got 2 goals to the better after this game gone, and they are still the team looking more likely to score again. Arju ends up missing it. Jorius, with Matane up against him, goes low. Doesn't quite fall into the path of Rise. Haven't seen Oxygen click just yet. And it's time to probe now. Smokes up against Rise. 2 players committed. Arju's going to see an opportunity to maybe turn back around, instead backs away from it. I'm ticking away here. Jorius with Rise to the side, decided to go by himself. Not quite happening. So Sonics, not just good at offense, but wholly strong in defense as well.
Yeah, Jorius was looking to use the infield pass as a fake there, hoping that the defender would lunge too much on that side and give him a good angle to 50 it towards the near post. But it looks like the Sonics defense, the Sonics midfield is going to be up to the task so far. They've had an answer to all of the Oxygen mechanical plays that we expect to see from this stunning roster. Is that going to be a hat trick? Indeed it is. Smokes has scored on a breakaway. He has just been Joria's worst enemy in this game. Scoring on him twice when Joria's in goal, now just dispossessing him and scoring a third with no goalie back. Well, Smokes has made quite an introduction to the quarterfinals for himself and his team.
Just looking at that one from Rise's POV, and just got caught on the jump at the worst possible time, but at the same time, I don't think I can blame him because there wasn't a challenge from his teammate. You do not expect it to be won that easily, and nobody was expecting Sonics to be winning this game this easily. 4-0 points. They are running roughshod over one of the tournament favourites.
Well, Oxygen, you know, we talked about the favourable mentality that Sonics might have here, thinking they're the underdogs, and CJ brought it up in the pre-match that, you know, maybe Oxygen have got a tendency at times to underestimate their opponents, and that's the worst thing that they could do here. You know, having played Sonics 2 times recently, you'd think that they wouldn't underestimate them. They played them twice in the past week in a community tournament, but they actually destroyed them both those matches. So maybe they're coming into this match and they're thinking, okay, it's just going to be another easy match for us, going straight through Sonics. Like they're not even there, but you've got to remember the community tournaments, you know, they're phenomenal, but they never match RLCS perfectly. RLCS is a different caliber of competition. It's just, it really is just the ultimate test in the Rocket League world. Oxygen get one, they can't even get the shots on target. That's going to be clean sheet for Sonics if they can hold on for 20 more seconds.
I look at that tournament as just fine-tuning the last few bits. Well, whatever Sonics have changed, we'll hope that they can keep this up for another 3 games, because it is Oxygen who have been annihilated 4-0 in game 1 and have got to go and find themselves some answers. Did not even get going here, Johnny.
Yeah.
Look at the offense that they had. I mean, there were shots towards the goal, but there were no shots threatening the goal.
Yeah, for all those shots, it really, you know, didn't look like a problem for Sonics to handle. The quality of shots that we've come to expect from Oxygen was really missing in this game, but I think more so defensively they were a shambles. I mean, Jaria's got a little bit confused in that first goal. He probably had his eyes on Smokes, who, well, he was flying back towards the ball. Second goal, he also gets a little bit out of position, left the near post top corner 2 open, and then yeah, third and fourth goal, just third one is a risky play from Jaria's as well. So maybe just a little bit of a slow start from Jaria's in particular, although it's not like he had help in any of those defensive plays from his teammates who were getting dusted and were not recovering to make it back. You know, always going to be easy to criticize the goalkeeper there who's getting scored on, but where was the rest of the team? The best teams in Rocket League defend with their team, not with one player at a time. So Oxford have to help each other out and mainly help Jaria's out a little bit more.
When we see those plays, do you get into those positions because something happened else? Okay! You know what, Jarius, there will be no complaints coming your way this time, pal. Methane went off!
Yeah, that's fair enough. I feel like when someone hits an angle like that on you off the back of an air dribble, you can say safely, well played.
And
well played. That is it
on that one. Rise gave him a nice one.
Yeah, he did. He dropped a nice one in the chat here, or in the quick chat, like Shoga's saying. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to be too upset about how they defended that one. Obviously not ideal to lose the kickoff to the left-hand side. Kind of falling for that back corner strat. Now look at this, Archie is going to be 1v1 with Archie. He might be going for the bump. He hit the first touch a bit too high though, a bit too far in front of himself. But look, is there Smokes. Testing the woodwork again. It's all Sonics in game 2.
And Smokes' performance so far has been to the point where him not scoring there is considered a disappointment. Archie up against Archie! And he needed to put it behind him, just didn't have the boost to get to that side of the ball. Oxygen are barely hanging on already in this game. Could so easily be 2-0.
It should be. That should have been 2-0, I think. You know, the shot wasn't as accurate as it could have been. Especially given the fact that Archie was under pressure from another player trying to bump him as he's making that save. You know, you've got to back the two to score there. The 2v1 to come out on top of a single goalkeeper. But yeah, we're talking about Oxygen having to help out Jarius in this game. It's Archie that needs to help him goal this game. Game number 2. So, you know, what's happening to the defensive structure of Oxygen? They just keep on ending up with one player alone at the back. Sonics are threatening every time.
I do like the way Sonics are rotating out of offense. They're just making sure that they go through the angles that you know Oxygen would prefer to be going themselves through. Just making you pause for a second, make sure you avoid getting bumped. Methane maybe asking a little bit much of himself now as Arju starts to go quickly, recognizing that the 2v1 was starting to develop. Now, as much as we did say, Johnny, it should have been 2-0, this is the point of the series now, where Sonics, as good as they are, have only got the one. And anything starts to go against them here, I think a lot of people will very quickly go back onto the Oxygen train. Cannot afford to only ride off the peaks in this series. They need to make sure mistakes aren't happening, a bit like the one Oxygen was gave them.
Yeah, Arju just getting in the way of the defenders on the back wall there, making it as awkward as possible for them. Now Rise and Joyous have collided in defense. Well, Oxygen certainly look disorganized at the defensive end. And they have missed those opportunities to get the big air dribbles started, the big pre-jump plays started. The aerial game that this team is so well known for has been completely missing so far this series. They're going to lose their back corner boost as well. Not that it was a terrible idea for Rise to play the bump instead of the ball, but obviously just not being rewarded right now. It's Sonic's efficient style seems to be generating more pressure, more chances, giving them full control of the match.
Well, off the demo, can they turn that ball in? Oh, not going to get a better chance than that one. Wiped its feet on the way past on the goal. Still, 1-0. Is this going to be the one? Now crossbar overpowered. Archie cannot get the ball past Matane. We go to the opposite side of the field. Oxygen still scoreless for nearly 9 minutes.
That's a pretty unfortunate bounce for Oxygen off the underside of the bar to clear the ball when they had all the pressure there. Before that, Jory has landed a demo on a goalkeeper, accidentally cleared the ball in the follow-through, so it's just all gone wrong for Oxygen there, but they have had chances and they've, not taken them with the quality finishing we're used to seeing from them. That's not the best clear from Matane. Arju smokes both jump. Arju comes away with it. In that situation, a double commit makes sense because you've just got to get something on that. You cannot allow Oxygen to come away with the ball in those positions. What can Rise do? Reset. Not going to be his until he reaches the backboard. That's the backboard that's well defended by Smokes.
Just the anticipation that we are seeing from Sonics has been incredible. Matane does have Arju downfield, but Arju does not have the boost to do anything with that. 30 seconds. It'll be half the job done. And I will reiterate, no goals for Oxygen. Given the star power and the talent on this roster, that is never a sentence I was expecting to say. Demo from one. Joris is going to try and hunt down Smokes.
Oh my.
Off the backboard, but there's nobody around. Arju clears. Smokes jumps up again. He's going to be a long way off from recovering, which means this is the chance. And it does not go in. Shot in the middle. Easy to save. Oxygen have to keep the ball up in the air. Smokes tries to guide it back down. Not happening just yet. Matane booms the ball across the field. 2-0 Sonics.
Well, it's been pretty close to the end there, the second half of the game. A lot more lively from Oxygen's POV, but not enough to get a goal. Denied by the crossbar. Denied by last-ditch efforts on the goal line from Sonics. And I think at times as well, Oxygen denied by their own inaccuracy today. Their first touch has been a bit off. I think we saw one glorious opportunity for Jorius around about halfway through the game. He had a set up for a solo air dribble and the first touch wasn't ideal. Second touch had him losing control of the ball. I mean, compare that to Matane, who's going to be thrilled with himself for scoring in the first few seconds of this one. Yeah, clearly Sonics have just got their number right now. Like, that's such an unfortunate play. Tough to read, very tough to read where that ball's going to go when you got a near post demo like this, but it just didn't fall for Oxygen and they couldn't get the goal despite every effort they made. Demos, solo plays, team plays, couldn't get the goal.
And that is now the longest Oxygen have been held scoreless all season long. Not much of a surprise. I'm almost surprised it took this long for us to hear about the fact that Oxygen have been held scoreless for that long. And Johnny, do you agree? No timeout. Bit weird, Oxygen. I feel like that was the time to take it.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that we've not seen a timeout there. In fact...
Oh my goodness!
They've conceded again. Great placement by Smokes. He saw the challenge coming towards him. He just delayed the shot slightly to wait for Rise to flip past him. Rise anticipating an earlier contact on the ball. Just airs the block. Smokes sends another one into the Oxygen net. Well, I feel like this might be just a little bit of pride from Oxygen, thinking we don't need a timeout, we're better than this team. We're just going to beat this team if we play our game, but it's whether or not you're the better team, whether or not you're the more mechanical team. I'm sure Oxygen will consider themselves. Everyone has an off day, everyone has a bad series here and then. They've got to get it together here. It's no goals. Sonics are just scoring consistently every time that they get these opportunities.
surely. Sure? No, not surely. Not whatsoever. I'm just counting upwards at this point now, Johnny. 11 minutes. No oxygen goals.
Well, you know, an interesting thing to note is the group Oxygen played in yesterday was being called the group of death when everybody saw the draw. German Amigos, BDS, Oxygen all in one group. Well, that thought to
there you are.
goal. It is the first goal. The bump connects, timely fashion for Archie to run the ball into the net. They want to prove that they were the group of death yesterday by winning this, sending a Group D team into the semi-finals. But you know, if Sonics can close out the series, if Vitality can win against Moist, that would be 3 teams from Group A all making the semi-finals. So that would confirm Group A as the real group of death, not Group D as we previously thought.
Time for Oxygen to try and put all of this behind them and work from the position they're in. Have got their first goal. What I miss though is this hasn't looked like how I was mentioning earlier. Oh, wait a minute, Rise. Oh, wait a minute, Rise. Surely that goes in. That was some heavy lifting from the corner. And for the first time, Oxygen have got the lead.
What? That is a 1v4 play from Rise. A 1v4. He 50-50s the ball through one defender, fakes the second one, 50-50s it through the third defender, and then bumps the recovering fourth man. How does he hit a 1v4 play in 3v3? It doesn't add up, but that's just how good Rise can be. Unreal. And a great finish as well. Well placed from Oxygen.
That is the reason why they were so intent on getting him onto this roster. Just feel, though, that this is now the testing point for Sonics. Were they just going to peak for 2 games? Or are they going to continue to bite back and make every single game as difficult as possible? Rise, he's cut past one,
Well
he's
done.
turned it in. For all the work he did early for the assist, he deserves that goal.
Well, this game has been about 2 things for Oxygen. The physicality and the control. You're seeing a lot of controlled touches. They're just holding the ball when they get a chance to do so. Compare that to the first 2 games where they were just trying to boom the ball past Sonics and then beat them in the aerial battles, beat them in the races to it. And you know, that's something Oxygen can do if they're on their game. But I don't think they are on their game today. I think they made a very nice playstyle adjustment. And credit to them, coming up with that without a timeout. Just trying to go for a more grounded-based approach and a more bump-heavy approach. Realizing that actually Sonics are playing very well in the quick game. And look at this, Smokes has just scored again. Well, that has caught Oxygen by surprise. The stealing pitch from inside his own half.
Oh my god. Smokes is going to have a lot of new fans by the end of this series. Incredible. He's been absolutely incredible. And he's got his team plenty of time to find this next goal. Might do it quite quickly here as Metane almost landed on it. Instead, Archie waiting in the midfield. Archie gets enough on the ball. There's Smokes again. There's that moment of anticipation now every time he's on the ball.
I think how many goals is that now? He scored, I think, 5 goals, if not more. Forgot how high they ran up the score in game 1, but what a series for Smokes. He's playing out of his mind. And RJ Matane have been solid as well, but yeah, Smokes is completely still in the show here. Does get dusted to that ball, though Matane with a bit of work to do. Catches the ball effectively, offloads to the Talisman. He's been on fire today. He's a 2v2 grinder, he is, Smokes. If you like to watch your Rocket League streams, they're pro players in EU, Q, and ranked, I'm sure you'll know who this guy is. He's a very active player in the 2v2 ladder. So he made a name for himself outside of the bubble scene. Yeah, definitely one way to put an exclamation mark on that introduction. They need one more. They're going to come back in game 3. Look at this.
Smokes not getting there.
Same thing. It's another bump from Oxygen. They've done it every single time. The timing of the shot, once again, is just perfect.
That was not a bump, that was suplexes. Get rid of Smokes, and you're going to have to do nothing short of it to get rid of him at the moment. This is, however, massive for Oxygen, because they are doing, every time we look at a series that has gone this heavily in one direction, and suddenly the next game, we're seeing something a little bit different. The main question that always comes to me is this something you can replicate? For this style, absolutely for Oxygen. If anything, they are asking less of themselves than what they were previously doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy to keep this going. It will be entirely up to Sonics to adjust and realize what Oxygen have done this game. I mean, if you're going to sit back and wait for hard clears and the other team just doesn't hard clear the ball at you, they just control it and dribble it towards you, then, okay, you need to start moving out and challenging earlier. I think Sonics are going to be quite happy to do that as we progress through the series, but not able to make that adjustment mid-game. They've been caught too many times. Can't leave just one man back. We saw Oxygen being punished for that in games 1 and 2. The isolated defenders being outplayed. It's not just on the ball outplays you have to look out for. That's almost a fifth there from Oxygen. A banger it would have been. Oxygen showing you've got to look out for the off the ball plays as well in game 3. Putting one on the board in style. 2 games without scoring. And they've managed to score 4 in 1.
No timeout needed. Easy enough. Just change everything. That's what you got to do. As Oxygen have got themselves their first game win. And it was everybody not sort of leaving the other players out to dry when it came to defense. Did a great job of maintaining the pressure, making sure that they've got transition options. I mean, most importantly, when you are looking towards both Rise and Jorius, they were never isolated. And that is a big, big difference maker for this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just look at all these goals. I mean, every single goal involves some kind of physicality, some kind of ball control. And we mentioned earlier on in the series that Oxygen's ball control didn't seem to be on point. Sometimes it's something I've seen a lot from Jorius in his 1v1 career, in fact. If he's having an off day with his big aerial mechanics, which I'm sure all of you know he's got in spades, he just goes back to a very simple game. And that's, I think, what Oxygen have done here. They don't have to pop off with the huge aerials and the pre-jumps and the double resets and all of that. They've got a good fundamental game as well to switch up to. It's very difficult to defend against a team who can make these adjustments on the fly like Oxygen have. I'm sure Sonics didn't expect that. No timeout, no indication that there's going to be a big switch up of play. So maybe, I think we need to give them more credit for doing that without the timeout. Could have been an intentional disguising of their intentions. Timeouts do telegraph changes the game player coming.
Well, for Sonics, I don't really blame them too much, given what they had seen from Oxygen. There really wasn't much of an argument to be made that there'd be much of a fight at all. Oxygen, though, proving that if you want to get into those sort of point-scoring totals where you can qualify for a major, you have to go through the very best that the region's got to offer, and they will consider themselves that very team. Huge opportunity, though, for both squads. Who can get that front foot when it comes to getting over to San Diego? Jorius realized that he was under pressure from smokes, can still become the target. Surrounded by blue cars, and it will be back to the drawing board. Oxygen start back up from their own backboard, and Archie, they'll be having to play from here, actually. Good challenge. Who's going to be first to it? It's Matane, and now he's got his own opportunity. Smokes in the midfield if he wants him. Instead goes low. Maybe the wrong decision.
Well, that lob pass from Sonics is only going to find Jorius, who has his shot intercepted in the backboard. Look at Jorius just lingering there. Didn't immediately leave. He just stuck around in the goal line just to be a nuisance. Potentially redirect the ball if it comes straight at him. This is just annoying for Sonics to have to deal with. The cuts of rotation from Oxygen having a much more tight retreat close to the ball. Really denying those counterattacks Sonics were able to generate earlier on in the match. That's a heavy hit from Matane. Swatted away by Rise. First goal going to be crucial here. Sonics have been the better team in the series as a whole. Once you give Oxygen a little bit of momentum, they can run through absolutely anyone. Maybe the team with the highest peak in the world last split. Now they've got Rise in the roster. You have to imagine that peak has only risen.
Jorius is going to go for the follow. It's loose. Rise around. Unable to truly threaten the goal. Archie now with his own chance. He's got over the top of the ball. And in fact, overdid it when it came to finding that angle. Still scoreless across 2 minutes. But Sonics are seeing less and less of the offensive side of the field. And when they do get over there, it's a loose ball. That Oxygen can just retake over of the game. set themselves back up for offense. Maybe the best chance we're going to see here is Rice. Happy that that ball got to him so early because that meant he could go before being demoed.
Well, that was almost disastrous for Oxygen. Look at this from Smokes. He's hit the underside of the bar. That was...
It has been 3 minutes since Smokes last scored. You know.
He's due. He's overdue. But yeah, a little bit more patience, I think, with that previous push from Sonics. It would have been a guaranteed goal if the shooter just let Arju arrive and bump the goalie. Oh, that's not the clear ball that they're looking for. Arju sends it top corner. Well, Oxygen, I've gifted them that one. Jorius panics, gets no distance on the clear, does not control the ball whatsoever. Yeah, you can't blame Archie from letting that one through. Absolute bullet of a shot from Arju.
We've got many mechanics in Rocket League. We've got the Musty, we've got the Breezy. Unfortunately for the defensive side, that one was called the Whoopsie. Catastrophe over for them over on Oxygen. As they are getting themselves back into form. Cannot be giving up those sorts of goals. Attained from the ceiling. Now Sonic's getting more and more looks at the net. There's nobody around. Which seems a shock there. I don't think anybody from Sonics was expecting it to get that far.
Another quiet game as well now from Oxygen. Sonics just getting bodies behind the ball. When you're in these close quarters, it's obviously a lot harder to get those dribbling plays going, the ones that worked so well for Oxygen in the previous game. Arju's downfield here, goes for a bit of a specific touch on the ball, instead of just looking to dust his opponent. Oxygen leaving plenty space over the top of them. Oh, the drop down pass will go through. The vision from Rise is met gladly by Archie. All it took was one small miss there. Archie didn't get the read, didn't get the hit, and free
He
jump.
jumped away.
Yeah, he didn't get the right angle there. After jumping off the post, it's an awkward one for sure.
I would in fact love to re-see that one time. 90% certain, which means I'm 100% wrong. He had it without the second flip.
Yeah, you might have lost bearings of which direction his car was facing, which I'm sure he tried to flip towards the ball, but of course if you turn your car just slightly too far past the vertical, then suddenly a front flip becomes a back flip becomes a front flip, at least in terms of which direction your car is moving. So small margins for error there, and panic situation definitely. I don't think you can blame the team too much. Arju did miss the ball completely in the run up to that, so mechanical misplay certainly. Under pressure though, immensely.
Oh wow, and that's almost got through. Rise back to Archie. Doesn't put it into the net, and now on the breakaway, Archie has to try and get rid of the ball away from Arju. Back down again, Smokes. The man of the hour. Needs to get back in form. I don't want to see this series getting tied back up. What a pre-jump that is from Archie. That was certainly some belief, if anything else. And almost got it again. Well, Archie is adamant that if this is going to happen, he's going to be playing on the front foot. Instead, it's Smoke. Jorius Mitane had creeped up a little bit too far forward. Still makes something of it, but we are going to go to overtime.
Well, Sonic's just one goal away from triple match point. They have got someone in the area here. Even though the ball's in their back corner, they should be fine, but that's the miss from Smokes. Chance for Rise. Arju's up for it, but not quickly enough. Rise drops it down, but it's going to be easily saved. In fact, Rise's attempted dunk goes backwards.
Smokes takes under control. He's got past the first one. Can't outplay the entire team. Take now to the backboard. Tries to take on the challenge. He's going to want some support very soon because he is out of boost. There it is from Smokes. Boost coming out premium across the field. And is that the opportunity?
Oh,
yes,
wow.
it is. Wide open goal. And Archie has got his team their second win. And despite maybe a lack of a good start for them, they are well within this series yet again.
It was Rise on the recovery, just catching that third man of Sonics by surprise, demos him to remove it from the field. That left the net completely open. Well spotted there from Rise, showing that, you know, you shouldn't always rotate back post. If you're being told by your friends who coaching your Rocket League, trying to help you improve, to always go back post, I would question that, and you maybe look at this play as an example. 'Cause you're not doing anything if you're rotating back post there. Rise knows that. He just goes straight back to the play, straight back towards the ball, creates a goal-scoring chance for his team, and they've taken it in overtime.
And that is Sonic's first overtime loss of the event. They were 4-0 going into that one. Now 4-1, and most importantly 2-2 in this series. Oxygen have turned this back around, Johnny. Who have you got as favorites? I mean, given what we've seen, who is now the favorite in this series?
Well, you know, it has to be Oxygen. I think Sonic's missed their chance there. A couple of close opportunities in that last game. But from 2-2, it's very difficult to see them breaking the Oxygen momentum. You know, maybe we can see a Game 7 here, but Oxygen have to be the favorites from here, from this position. The mistakes did start to creep in from Sonics as well. Remember the miss from Arju, leading to Matane being stranded in an awkward position, and then him missing the ball as well. You know, these are the inconsistencies that start to creep in those high-pressure situations. You know, the Oxygen are going to create plenty high-pressure situations with the way they're playing now. Full physicality, full aggression. Maybe full win if they can keep this up. Archie's over 2 here. Doesn't get the rebound, but Joris is there for it, and has to be saved low by Smokes.
I will say, Archie's not had tremendous success with a lot of those plays, but he still goes for them no matter what. He has got tremendous self-belief, but that is an exceptional play. Everyone from Oxygen involved, annihilate the goalkeepers.
I mean, the touch from Archie to center the ball from that position is exquisite. And the vision from Rise, completely fooling the entire defensive team of Sonics. They're all on the goal line. They're all expecting a shot. And Rise just effortlessly drops it down. Joyous to score. You know, that's reminiscent of Nolly's pass to win the fall major right there. And it's an effective strategy if you've baked a shot before infield passing like that. Absolutely perfect.
I feel like that goal from Nolly is going to stick with me for a very long time, because every single time I see any sort of touch like that now, I just go, oh, that's what Nolly did. There is Matane. Will not trouble Archie whatsoever. We will find out whether or not the opportunity has gone by them, because for the first time in this series, they are currently losing. We need to start turning this momentum back around. But you've also got to look at the way that they were winning, and the way they were winning was off unattainable levels of brilliance that we were getting from Smokes. Is it maybe asking a little bit too much for not just him or for anybody on that team to regain that sort of level?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they've reeled it in a bit. I think they've tried to counter this heavy bump style that Oxygen have gone for by just making sure that they've always got 2 players back. And when you've always got 2 players back, it means you rarely have 2 players forward. And that has limited the pressure that Sonics have been able to generate on their attack. Just giving control to Oxygen. Yeah, they're still able to connect those bumps even if there are 2 defenders back. It's saved well there by Sonics, but they don't have the opportunities going forward that they previously did. It's not, Sonics can't hang with a peak Oxygen mechanics level, which is what they're starting to reach now. If we're talking about the mechanics looking a bit off for Oxygen earlier in the series, now they're getting into gear. They've got another gear to go to still, but they're putting it together now. They're becoming unplayable.
Well, we do see potentially using 2 players back as a way to counter those demos. You have to also say, you would take that if you're Oxygen 1 player for 2 players? Oh, absolutely. So like down, Rise already around. Pulls the backboard, Matane has to chase. Still have only 1 goal between them. Joris. Midfield, Rise pops the ball back up. He's going to scramble back. Not too happy with leaving that ball where it was, but still Archie's kept him out of any trouble. Maybe for the doink call. That was not far off. I know Colin Stumpy are lit right now because it was the other dodge that took it away from it.
He didn't jump. You've got to jump there. We want to see the clean double jump pop. Everybody's favorite redirect. Yeah, the pros still have to dodge into that. It will give the ball a tiny bit more power. Makes it significantly harder to hit though.
Just going to have to get back in time. Now Rise, time on the ball. Is that something you're going to regret every single day?
Rise past 1. Arju didn't have the boost to recover. Smokes did not read what Rise had planned. Easy goal there for Oxygen at the end. Some of these assists have been phenomenal. I mean, Rise assisted the previous goal as well with a purely positional play. Now, a almost purely mechanical play to assist the second one. They're finding all kinds of different ways to score. Uh-oh. That was almost
Jarius goes for the top corner. Smokes at least keeps his team in it. They need offense. They need that ball. Jarius will lay claim. He's ended up missing it after the little bit of a fake from his opponent. There was an attempt to maybe give a receipt on the demos. That's not worked.
Yeah, you don't want
That's
to
really not worked.
Matade finds himself on the wrong side of the goal line and can do nothing but jump as the ball hits him and goes in. Yeah, he just got bumped into this position. It's not like he wanted to be here, but yeah, unfortunate end of this game if this is to be the end of the game for Sonic's. Comeback looks way far in the distance at the moment. Yeah, like you mentioned, they tried that to give the Oxygen a taste of their own medicine with the bump, but they didn't check to see if there was anyone behind them who actually had control of the ball before sending the aggressors forward.
They're still going for it. They're adamant they're getting one, and almost again they got punished. Archie couldn't find the free jump into the ball. But this is now game number 5 out of the way. This is what I really love about this esport, Johnny. It's the fine margins, because we can now go back in this series and we can find the little moments where if maybe something goes a different way, that is fully Sonic's in the driver's seat for the series. You go back to the overtime, you go back to game number 4, and instead, it's Oxygen who hold all the cards, maybe one goal for the road. But that road leads to Neo Tokyo, and that road leads to double match point for Oxygen.
Yeah, 3 straight games as well. They're clearly the better team at the moment. It's an interesting series where Sonics, by the way, have just called a timeout. This one, of course, does make sense, facing double match point. It's such an interesting moment in that third game. Oxygen making a massive playstyle switch up without calling a timeout. So that probably came as a surprise to Sonics when they
Also
ran
means
into
that it's
Oxygen
something
in
that
that
they've
third game.
practiced, because you don't look that smooth that quickly.
Well, you know, they went from just trying to beat Sonics to the ball, because I think going into game 1 of this series, Oxygen probably thought we can just be faster than this team. We've beaten them twice this week in a community event. We were faster than them then. Let's just go and be quicker. Let's dust them. And it didn't work. They actually ended up being in the losing end of some races to the ball. So they just thought, well, if maybe we're just not on our game today with the speed, with the precise touches. Let's simplify. Let's just dribble them. They're giving us a bit of space here to come at them. Let's use that and get physical in the final third. Now, like we mentioned, Sonics tried to play a bit more defensively, defend as a unit to counter that playstyle, and I think it's really taken the sting out of their pressure that they had earlier in the series. They had plenty of opportunities earlier in the series, need I remind you guys. But now that they're playing almost not to lose, it just doesn't look like they've got any threat for Oxygen to worry about. That's a big problem.
And again, we do keep going back to it. Well, I at least keep going back to it because it was that good. But Smokes, he's cooled off, understandably so. But they now need some sort of step up. Because, well, it goes back to what I said, Johnny. It has to be something that you can repeat. Especially when we get into the quarterfinals, we hit those best of 7s. You know, best of 5, it can kind of be blink and you miss it at times. You lose those games, you're already up against match point after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, that can really, really rattle a team. But when we get to best of 7, it's only half the job done. You still have that timeout if you're a team that isn't Oxygen and actually want to use it. It's just difficult to really blitz a team in the way that you might be able to in an earlier part of the tournament.
Yeah, it's very difficult in this kind of position for Sonics because they, yeah, like you mentioned, they need this game or they're out of the series, but they also just need to figure out something that can get Oxygen to feel uncomfortable again. Oxygen clearly were not comfortable at the start of the series. They didn't look like themselves. I think they were a bit surprised by the pace and the consistency that Sonics were able to bring to the table. Can Sonics produce the goods again and actually cause problems for Oxygen? It remains to be seen. Let's see what they're going to attempt. Well, they're not going to get much done with plays like that. Smokes quickly recovers to scramble the ball clear. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. It's a huge miss from Sonics to allow that half chance.
Arju is downfield. Doesn't have the boost really to stick around with that one. It has been in a position we've seen him in a few times as well, where he can be target man. He seems to be positioning himself for it, but he also only has 12 boosts. Something to look at in the future. Smokes daring somebody to come towards him. Jorius is not going to be playing that game. Dead back to Archie. Retain, pass 2. Gets the support. Archie takes over mid-air. A little bit creative from Sonic. Well, they've got offensive positioning. Really need this first goal. Rise. Gets that little bit of time. He's got a lot of respect. Nobody charging him down for any sort of bump, demo, or challenge. For a stalemate to start us off on game at number 6. Oh, there's the play gone. Yeah, there's what you were worried about.
Well, what a selfless couple of games these have been from Rise, who's come up with some spectacular assists in the previous game, and now in a position where I'm sure the vast majority of Rocket League players worldwide would have taken a shot on that redirect. It was coming out so quickly, it must have been tempting, but he thought, no, I'm just going to drop it down middle and demo the goalkeeper. I mean, that's just selfless gameplay from Rise to pass the ball off to his teammate and leave the net open. But it was defended by a recovering Sonic's player. They've got to keep an eye out for Rise. He is spotting the ball to his teammates in the final third consistently, and it's causing Sonic's problems.
That Rise has been the main proponent of that demo style. Boost again for Archie. He's just really struggling to get to the opposite side of the field with anything in the tank. Now Archie looking for the solo play. Has he got it? No, Archie shuts it down. It's already on though that he can hit those sort of angles. Now Jorius, Rise to Jorius! Jorius to the back of the net!
I think that just sums up Rise in the past couple of games here. Receives the pass from Jorius. He could have shot that himself, but no, he passes back. Jorius from point blank range to send it through the goalkeepers for just phenomenal vision